Alright guys, so today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my personal struggle with social anxiety and then overcoming that struggle with social anxiety. So I think one of the main reasons, there are also probably some other reasons tied into it, but let's say the foundation of my social anxiety was when I was 8 or 9 years old. I moved away from Switzerland to France, other way around, from France to Switzerland, and it was a new country, a new culture. Although the language was the same as in France, the culture wasn't the same, and so I felt somewhat unrooted, and I wanted to be accepted, validated by everyone and everything around me. I think that was my reaction to being outside of where I had been all my life, was to seeking acceptance and validation from everybody where I was at. And so although that wasn't the only factor, I think that was, let's say, the starting factor to my social anxiety, and then that led to me seeking validation from everywhere, everyone I met. I feared being rejected by them. And so through middle school, I made some friends, but I was really fearing a lot of the time that people were judging me, that people didn't like me. I was fearing that people were talking shit about me behind my back, that people didn't really like me. I was super insecure about how I was, how I looked, how I spoke. I was really feeling like shit in being judged by other people, fearing that judgment, needing that validation. And I would get this feeling inside, this uncomfortable sensation of like heat in your heart and your throat, where it just, I don't know if that's that anxiety feeling, but I just felt like shit often in social situations, and afterwards just thinking, making scenarios in my head about what people could have been saying about me, and just all sorts of stuff like that. And that lasted for a lot of middle school, and in two separate middle schools, and I did make some friends, but I was still kind of a loser. And so when I went on to high school, I decided, okay, I want to really get myself out more, socialize more, meet some new people. And so I did that. I went out there and I met people. I overcame aspects of my fear in meeting new people, but that wasn't the perfect solution either, because what I ended up doing was seeking validation from everybody. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be friends with everybody. And I still had that fear within, that people didn't like me, people didn't accept me, that I wasn't good enough, that, people would just reject me for who I was. I feared speaking in front of people, and even though I would do things in that direction, I was still seeking everybody's validation, wanting to be everybody's friend. And it made me fear inside that people didn't like me. And so when I got out of high school, I realized that I had been doing that for all my 3 years with my classmates. And even though I'm in good terms with my classmates today, I would speak with them if I met them in the street, I haven't really built any connections. I realized that after ending high school, that I hadn't really built any lasting friendships in my class. I simply hadn't, because I was so focused on seeking everybody's validation, acceptance, that I wasn't really myself. And so I came to terms with that. I said, you know what? It's okay. If I haven't made connections with the people from my class, I don't care. I don't need to be friends with them. I'll focus on myself. And so that's what I did for a large part of my first year of college, where I was focusing inside, focusing on myself, developing myself. And when I was meeting new people, overcoming that sensation of fear, of social anxiety, of thinking, oh, what does this person just think about what I just said about, well, all those things. I worked on overcoming all those sensations and those negative thoughts and scenarios in my head, and I really moved forward with that. And a big stepping stone as well, after making progress in that first year of college, was in my summer after my first year of college, coming out as bisexual to my friends. And that forced me to really not care what people thought about me, because I was mentally prepared to, if some people I knew would take a distance from me after I came out to them, I was mentally prepared for that to happen. It ended up not really happening. People didn't really take a distance, but I myself was ready to say, hey, you know what? I will tell people my truth, and I don't give a shit if some people don't accept me for it. And that forced me to really make a big step in just not caring what people thought about me. And after that, I created my account and kept pushing myself. That was also a big step. Overcoming the fear of what people would think about me for putting myself online, for showing my face, talking my ideas about, discipline, about overcoming social anxiety, about what I have suffered with, was not easy, and it forced me to know I would be judged. I know I was judged by people who knew me from high school and found my account and whatever. But doing that forced me as well to really overcome that. And after that, well, I've kept working on it, and today there are still some moments where I suffer with some aspects of social anxiety, but honestly, I'm proud to say that unless there are some aspects which I'm still not aware of, which could possibly be, I've very largely overcome my social anxiety. I'm able to speak to people and not give a shit if they don't accept me, speak in front of a group of people, present my student association in front of hundreds of people, and I know some people are going to judge me, and I just don't give a shit. I know some people will align with me, some people I'll build connections with, and others I won't. And I've truly overcome the suffering I used to deal with on a daily basis.
If you want to walk the path towards a more meaningful business goal and more meaningful life for yourself, check us out on social media. We're going to be hosting an event in the next couple of weeks. Get to know us, a beer pong tournament, and you can also check us out just down the stairs of the library building. To the left, we have a stand. You can have a Wheel of Fortune. You can win prizes and everything, so you can come chat. Thanks a lot.